Welcome everybody, I'm Fabio Viviani and you're watching Fabio's Kitchen, where every week we'll bring you an amazing dish made by me. What are we going to do today? The easiest of the easiest dishes out there. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not a dish, it's a sauce. It's a cold sauce that takes less than 5 minutes to do. It's called pesto. What pesto means? Pesto comes from the word pestare, stomping, because originally this sauce that featured Italian cheese, basil and pine nuts is a sauce that was originally done in a mortar with a pesto, and you pesto, and you squish it, you squeeze it, you just crush the heck out of it. Once everything is combined in a smooth or chunky paste based on your flavor profile, that is exactly what we call pesto. Now, what I would like to do here is to get a sauté pan, which I don't have. Hold it. I got a sauté pan right here. Pesto originally is done with basil, Italian cheese. Now, most people use Parmesan. For me, it's too strong. I like to use Grana Padano. Or if you like stronger cheese, then I suggest you to taste some pecorino with it. Now, you have pine nuts, you have garlic, salt and pepper, and a food processor. Why a food processor? Because it's easier than stay there and sit and hammer these things down for half an hour. Now, first things first, I like to toast my pine nuts. How do you toast pine nuts? By putting pine nuts in a sauté pan. No oil, no fat, nothing. Just toasting the pine nuts. Second, get a food processor, open it up, and start to get the pesto out. Now, because the sauce is minced, you don't need to go very fancy with the cleaning of the basil. You can break it apart like this, and as long as the stem itself doesn't go in, everything else is fine. See, this part you shouldn't put in. Everything else is fine. If there is a little piece that goes in, like this, who cares? Everything is going to be minced anyway. Now, pesto to me brings up very sweet memory, not just because of the sweetness of the basil, but because I used to drive going to work from Florence to Genoa. Genoa is a city in Florence near Le Cinque Terre, the kind of eastern side of Italy, right on the sea. And the best part is that basil used to grow on the side of freeways. Now, when basil is in season, does beautiful purple flower, and the aroma and the smell is to die for. So when you drive the coastline from Tuscany to Liguria, which is where the Cinque Terre is, you smell basil, and you have to stop anywhere on the road and get the best pesto you ever had. This is such a very common sauce in Italy because, again, it doesn't take much to do. How do you toast pine nuts properly? Well, just put them in a pan and make sure that they don't burn. That would be my answer to you. But you kind of gotta have a medium fire, and you gotta kind of saute them frequently. Pine nuts, like every nut out there, has natural oil inside. And by releasing the natural oil in it, you're gonna toast that aroma and have a very nutty flavor, which I love. See, when the pine nuts start to toast, you're gonna see that they start to get nice and brown. Look at it. See that? That's pine nuts toasting. Now I think this basil is enough for me. I'm gonna add a couple of cloves of garlic. 3. I'm gonna add a good pinch of salt. I'm gonna add a good pinch of pepper. You see some of the pine nuts are toasting? Look at that. See that? Perfect. And you smell like toasted nuts already. So here's what we're gonna do. You might think there is a lot of pine nuts. Yes, there are. It's a lot of pine nuts in it. But pine nuts is good. And this is really an easy dish with only 3 ingredients: cheese, pine nuts, and basil. Now, the best part, a good amount of grana padano. And the last touch, some extra virgin olive oil. How much oil? Well, a lot. The amount of oil is proportional to how much thick or thin you want your pesto to be. Think about how versatile this sauce is. If you want this sauce as a spread, then make it thicker. If you want to have this sauce as a sauce for sauteing pasta, make it thinner. If you make it really thick, you know what you should do? You should get a nice piece of fish, salmon or halibut, sear the fish on one side, spread a thick layer of pesto on the other, and put it in the oven. This, it's very versatile. Now, and that's all it takes. So here's some pointers for you, right? I like my pesto thick and chunky, just like this. See, I like my pesto thick and chunky. Look at this. Also, this way, pesto this way, it's perfect for storage. You can fill mason jar, top with a finger of olive oil on it, like thick like a finger, and freeze it for years. It will never go bad. Never. Now, question is, if you're smart, why would you have years of pesto worth in the freezer and not eat it? It's another story. I can only tell you how to store it. I can't control you when you're gonna eat it. But let's assume that you want it creamy. All you have to do is delicious. And you knew that that was coming. It's my show. I eat everything. You have to do this. If you want it thinner, you have to add oil. See, now it's thinner. Look at this. And now you made a perfect sauce for pasta. See? You can toss your pasta in it. Now, think about this one. If you didn't know what to do, like, hey, I don't need pasta. Okay. What about veggies? Raw veggies, dip and eat it. This is 10 times healthier than a hummus. Maybe not. Maybe it's not healthier as a hummus because it has cheese in it and oil, but whatever. It's delicious. You can replace a dip with that. It's fantastic. As a sauce, as a spread over bread, as a dip for vegetable. Pesto is the most versatile sauce out there, bar none. And you're watching Fabio's Kitchen. You're welcome.